Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to talk about satisfaction. So this is going to be a knife ramble, and basically it's about how much satisfaction do you get out of flicking your knife, okay? I'm just talking about reverse flicking because I'm a flicker. You know what I mean? If you're a flipper guy, okay, you can kind of equate this the same way to how much satisfaction you get out of deploying that flipper. And I do have flippers and I enjoy that, and it's a similar thing. It's just I want to talk about reverse flicking. If you have front flippers, which one of these is, but you'll see in a second. If you want to talk about front flippers, that's another whole category of satisfaction, right? Button locks, you know, that whatever, right? You can equate this however you want. But for me, it's flicking, reverse flicking. It's my thing. It's my favorite way to deploy a knife. If a knife is only going to have one method of deployment, I want it to have a hole. Or I guess a thumb stud. You could reverse flick a thumb stud, such as the Brian Brown Knives Raptor, right? That would count. For me, that's not as satisfying as the reverse flick with a hole or slot. Also on this knife, the thumb flick is very satisfying. So that's another whole category. One last thing, like the Rask here, another flipper. I'm not counting disengaging and drop shut. You can see there, that is very satisfying. But I'm not talking about that today. I'm just talking about reverse flicking. All right, did I get my goddamn point across? Yes, I did. So you can see here, these are kind of lined up. I got lefty sort of knives, or left-handed friendly knives, and then I got the righty knives over here, right? Not that they're not left-handed friendly. All of these are, because that's why they're on the goddamn table. It's why they're in the collection, right? So from left to right, we have the Kvist Bladeworks variant number 22 custom. We have the Liang Ma KUF or Cuff version 2 lefty. We have the Liang Ma Field Duty EDC lefty. We have the Liang Ma Field Duty full size carbon fiber bolster lock with a reversible clip. It's a righty bolster lock. We have the Medford Knife and Tool Slim Midi, recently back in the collection. Yes. We have the Trevor Berger LEX KCFL, the Oz Machine Company Roosevelt, and last but absolutely not least, the EMP EDC Thick Boy. Okay, and you're thinking, EMP EDC, but Kev, you love the Nimble. Why isn't the Nimble on the table? Well, I'll tell you right now, because I'm talking about reverse flicking. And this knife has a lighter detent, okay? So you can fail it pretty easily. It's just not as satisfying to reverse flick. Now, left-handed, granted, I will say it is very satisfying. So I could have put it on the list for just being left-handed. I guess I am just talking about me, so maybe this should be on the table. Let's put it up here. The Nimble from EMPEC. So, what is the point of this, right? That's kind of what you want to know, probably. The point is, how much satisfaction do you get out of that, right? Because it's varying from knife to knife. It's hard to explain. There's a lot of knives that reverse flick that are good, but they don't give me the fizz, so to speak. Shout out to Wrangler Star. They don't give me the fizz when I fire that detent out, right? You guys know I am a detent diva, and I need a crisp break, and I need it to fire out. Good acoustics, good reverberation, right? A good tactile feel. All of those things go into play when you reverse flick a knife or deploy a knife in general. And I want it to be satisfying. It doesn't have to be. There's some knives that aren't, and I still love them. The Mach 3 here from Wingman EDC. It's a very good flicker. I like it, right? But it just doesn't give me the fizzy wizzies when I do this. It's not as satisfying as any of these knives on the table. Now, overall, this knife, with all its deployment methods, its ergos, its aesthetics, its carry, all of that stuff, I still love it. So it's in the collection, and I'm not saying I don't like that knife. The Vero Engineering Axon Lefty, one of my favorite knives. But that Detent is just sort of weak. So even though it's still nice and I enjoy the reverse flick, it's not satisfying. It's not giving me the fizzy wizzies. You know what I'm saying? Where when I pick up my Kvist Blade Works and I put my finger into that slot, all sexually, and I aim for the sky and I spread my fingers out and I release the middle finger pressure, it feels so good. It just fires out. And it's so satisfying. I don't need to put any extra work into it. I just need to push that enough until the detent pops. And it freaking fires out of there. The cuff, same thing. Feels really good and has amazing acoustics. The Field Duty EDC, you notice Leon Ma is pretty popular on this table. Snap, crackle, and pop, baby. Bang, it flies out, right? The epitome of detent, in my opinion, is the Field Duty from Leon Ma. This is a knife that I don't really carry all that much. It's very big for me. It's heavy for me. Yet, it's in the collection and never going anywhere because of this. It just has an epic deployment. It just, for such a big, heavy blade, listen to this detent. Do you hear that? How it breaks like that and makes that noise? It's one of the only knives I have that does that, and it's just so good. Normally, you'll hear that on a flipper because those detents need to be stiffer on a flipper to deploy, where a whole deployment knife or thumb stud knife can be have a lesser detent. They don't need to have a lesser detent. Depends on the situation, obviously. But this knife is just what I compare all detents to in my mind, right? When I flick that knife for the first time, I'm like, ooh, how does that compare to the Field Duty, right? And nothing has topped it yet. One that comes close, Oz Machine Company Roosevelt. That acoustic, that just epic firing out is just amazing on this knife. There's a double detent system in here. Same with this. Not like the slip joint double detent system. There's 2 detent balls in here that operate. I don't know how it works, but it is amazing how it deploys. Yet, see that? Yet, if you look at this detent, it's not that heavy, but that double detent thing just somehow, man, is it freaking amazing and confidence inspiring and just feels good. And left-handed, it's even better because you put a little bit of pressure on there and it freaking guns out of there, right? That's the Oz Machine Company Roosevelt, one of the best knives, I think, in the world right now. It's an amazing knife, right? So yeah, that's an expensive knife. Basically a custom. This is a custom. This is the Trevor Berger LEXK. This is actually a front flipper. So you're probably wondering, what the hell, Kev? Why the hell is this thing on the table? You're talking about knives with holes and slots and flicking? Look at that hand satin. Best blade grind on any knife I've ever seen or felt. This is a full hollow grind. It's just dumb. So smooth too. See this? Because of that full hollow grind, right? As soon as that spine starts right here, as soon as the blade, whatever it's called, starts, it's already a hollow grind, so it's going in a little bit. What does that mean? That means I have some traction right here. It means I can line up and fire her out with a reverse flick. And it is absolutely satisfying. It feels so good, and you hear the acoustics, right? Are you hearing this? It's just so good. And it is really hard to miss. Now, left-handed, you have to be on the clip, right? So it's a little more work. But it's hard to miss because that hollow grind, I guess it just catches you. You get caught. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just works fantastically. And yes, it gives me the fizzy wizzies. That's what we're calling them, the fizzy wizzies. This is the EDC Thick Boy. And this one is a bolster lock, so left-handed I'm good. And just the way my finger lands in this knife is so perfect. It just, look at it. It's just right there. It's so ready to aim up at the sky. Ugh, it's so good. And they dialed the Detent up on these. The production versions are so good. Oh, man, is it satisfying. Okay. Now, again, the nimble right-handed, I wouldn't put it in this category. Maybe if you got to talk to a righty, you know, if you go to the top of the hole, because everybody knows, or you should know, with a hole deployment knife, the closer you are to the pivot, the stronger your detent is going to feel. So if I put my finger at the bottom of this hole and push out, well, it's not going to have as strong of a detent, right? Part of that is I'm down at the bottom, so naturally I'm pushing out. And what you want to do when you reverse flick or thumb flick is you want to go vertical, right? You want to go to the top of the hole and aim at the sky. And that'll get you the most detent pressure and just momentum to shoot the knife out, right? Better demonstration on a larger hole here. Top of the hole, more detent, right? Bottom of the hole, less detent. Now, it doesn't mean you can't do it from down there. I can do it just fine. But if you want to 100% of the time never fail the damn thing and feel satisfied, top of the hole. Oh, so good. I know, I'm crazy. I'm sitting here just talking about flicking knives. Last one, Medford Slim Midi, guys. I just got this back. I missed this knife. And left-handed, you don't have to worry about this lock bar. That is why I've always loved this knife. It's thin, yet weighty. It's gorgeous. It's just one of those knives that is just sexy to me. Top of the hole. I don't know what it is about this knife. It just makes me cream my pants. Fizzy wizzies. Look at that. I know it's not for everybody. Look at that Tanto. I love it. I don't know if you guys heard, but if you have the drop point version of this, it means you have a small penis. If you have a Tanto, nah, mean. So anyway, it's on bearings, of course, but we're not talking about that. The reverse flick is just utterly satisfying on this knife. I have such a blast reverse flicking this knife. I won't lie, I also enjoy slow rolling it because I'm getting old, I guess. Just hearing that Medford lockup, it's so good. But anyway, back to flicking. It's just utterly satisfying to flick this knife out. One other thing that needs to happen to have it be satisfying for me is where my finger lands. So, or my hand lands after the flick. So, that was an accident. So, it shoots out and I start wrapping my fingers around. What happens? Boom. Perfect ergonomic grip. Perfect ergonomic grip. Cuff. Perfect ergonomic grip. Field duty. Perfect ergonomic grip. Broken record. Field duty, full size. Perfect ergonomic grip. And on we go. Perfect ergonomic grip. Trevor Berger, one of the most comfortable knives on the planet. Perfect ergonomic grip. Oz Roosevelt. Perfect ergonomic grip. Thick boy. Got to do a little bit of work to climb up on that one, all right? So, not as good as all these others, but I bet you if I climbed up a little higher. So, I got to do a little adjustment there on that one, but still amazing. The Nimble. Same thing. And it's because he has this hump. All his knives have that sort of hump in the middle. And that means when you flick, you got to kind of climb up into that choil. I love these knives, so it's not a problem, but it is something I wanted to note. I do really love, like my Slim Mini, when I go to fire it, I'm just in that grip all ready to go. You know what I mean? So anyway, guys, that's just a quick video about getting the fizzy wizzies when you're flicking your knife. You got to get them, man. You got to have that satisfaction because over time, right, you might like a knife at first and, you know, whatever, you get used to it. But if it's not satisfying to reverse flick, it eventually leaves my collection. Here's one, the Demco 20.5. I struggle with this one sometimes. This one doesn't leave the collection. I have another one of these in clip point. Because of the shark lock, the kind of uniqueness, I actually really enjoy slow rolling this knife, which, again, I'm getting old. But the reverse flick can be frustrating on this knife. You just have to kind of get it perfect, and you have to give it the oomph because it has that spring in there that doesn't want to shoot out. So that's an example of an exception. Like I said, there are exceptions. But you just want to get the fizzy wizzy wizzies. You know, another good one is the Kubi KU321 Royal, designed by my good friend Colin Mason Pierre, CM Knife Designs, my partner on Devo Knives. This has a lighter detent, but because of the way he designed the hole, you get maximum leverage. And you just get that good grip after you flick. So if you're looking for a budget option, there's a lot of them, guys. The Kubis are nailing it. The Kubis. Kubi is nailing it right now with their budget stuff, guys. The KU321, the 322, the 122. I mean, almost all of them. Colin has another one. I think it's the 332. They all have excellent detents and are just dialed for the reverse flick, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, that is. So I love that one. That's a budget option for you. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Just a quick overview of how I kind of see the reverse flick and why I make certain decisions and what it's about for me. Like, if I'm not getting satisfaction out of something, why am I wasting my time? It's a hobby, right? So, yeah. That's it, guys. I love you all. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know if you're the same way or different. Is it flippers for you? Thumb studs for you? Maybe for you, it's all about the drop shut, right? Like, I also am all about that too. I could do a whole video about that as well. But like, what is it for you about knives that gives you the fizzy wizzies when we're talking about fidgeting or whatever? Or maybe for you, it's feeling that knife glide through paper or cardboard or whatever. That gives you the fizzy wizzies, and that's how you decide what knives stay and go in your collection. Because a big part of why certain knives get sold for me is I'm not getting that fizzy wizzy, you know? Like, I just got this, and I really like it. I'm really digging it. This is the EDC Supply Nessie, and it's a flipper only, and it's a bruiser. I mean, look at this thing. It's a tank. And it's got an excellent detent. It's super comfortable. It drops shut. It's got a unique design. But it's flipper only. You know? And it's just... It gave me the fizzy wizzies for, like, you know, the first 12 hours I had it. But now I'm like, you know, if somebody wanted it, I'd sell it, right? I've already talked to somebody about selling it. So, it doesn't mean it's not a good knife. It's just... for me personally, not going to be, you know, a keeper. So That's it. Some people keep everything, I know. And that's a different story. But I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts on this. I just wanted to put it out there and kind of talk about it. That's what these rambles are for. So I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.